Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the page, Chit Chat with Tumeka Moletsane. My name is Tumeka Moletsane, and welcome back. Before I even go any further, let me first start by saying thank you, guys. Wow. I see the views. I see the rich. It's amazing. The first video is almost at 500 views. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyways, I'm just grateful that I shared the link with some of my friends, with some of my work colleagues. Yes, I did that, and they had nothing but positive things to say about the rawness and the realness of this page, and how basically I am trying to make you feel comfortable about what's happening to you. And that's really what I envisioned when I started this thing, that I want to talk about my experience, and so that you can be comfortable about yours, because you haven't been given a platform that actually tells you it's okay. And that's it. It's okay. Like, it's nothing to be ashamed about. You're going through this thing. That's it. Like, nothing is gonna take it away unless you actually start opening up about it, start talking about it, start seeking help, and start listening to channels like this that talk about it. I've made peace with mine. Like, it's so sad. It's so funny when people say, "You're so well put, but yet you have anxiety." Aibo, anxiety is not written that so and so can have anxiety and so can't have anxiety. So that is basically my mission, is to make you comfortable about mental illness, for you to embrace it, for you to fight it, for you to actually know there is help and there is nothing wrong with living with anxiety. Great. So now this is the fourth video. We've spoken about my journey being diagnosed with anxiety. We've spoken about the physical symptoms that I endure on a daily basis. We've spoken about the structure, the support structure, and today we're speaking about the misconceptions and stigma around antidepressants. This is a very important topic to me, because I think I was like you before I went on the meds. I took everything I read and formulated a script, and that script came with an answer that you will never go on medication. I was against it. I was against it. And it's all good and well. You can be against it, but obviously you need to find other coping mechanisms. And let me just put it out there before I even go into all these things, that this video is not to make you go on meds. Okay, I'm not advocating for people to go on medication, because some people do want to fight this thing the natural way, which is great, perfect. But I'm just offering you another solution. If you were like me, you've reached your ends, you were like, I can't take this anymore, this is another solution. So this is just maybe to give you an insight on how did I change my mind from not wanting to go on medication to actually taking medication on a daily basis. So please, don't jump now and say I'm going to go on medication. I'm just giving you the relevant information so that you can actually make an informed decision. Great. So I explained in the first video that everything I went through. Please go through that video if you haven't watched it. I explained everything I went through, and up until that point when I decided that I have had enough. Like, I think I was at a point where I was like, so be it. I'm going on medication. So be it. All these things that I've read, whether they're true or not, I'm going on medication. Whether antidepressant medication are addictive, so be it. I'm going to be an addict. So I had exhausted all my options, and this was the only option that was left. And boy, am I glad that I did, because now I can actually tell you half of the stuff that I read, now I can call them misconceptions. Half of the stuff that I read isn't true. So I am going to educate you. I went and I jotted down everything that I read about antidepressants, and now I'm going to tell you whether it's the truth or not. And then I'm going to tell you about the type of anti-anxiety medication that's there. So I had gone through the whole counseling, I had gone through meditation, breathing, exercising, and everything, and all that didn't work. I think because I couldn't endure my hell anymore, because having anxiety is living in hell. I couldn't, and I was like, I'm blocking everything that I've read because now I need a solution. I went on the medication, and one thing that I can tell you, let's start with the misconception. The one misconception is that people want a quick fix. They want a quick solution, to the point that after a few days they draw the conclusion that the medication is not working. In order for antidepressant to work, they take about 4 to 6 weeks, even 8 weeks. So in my case, I think I started to feel the difference in about week 4. The first 2 weeks of taking the medication was hell. The side effects of the medication are extremely, extremely exhausting. It is headaches, it is struggling to sleep, nausea, vomiting. I didn't vomit though. I think the one I struggled about, I mentioned, was falling asleep. That was an issue. And they do increase your anxiety at the beginning. So you'll feel that you're more anxious than you were when you were not on the meds. But with time, all of those subsides. So don't take the medication for 2 weeks and say, oh, actually the medication is not working. Give it 4 to 8 weeks. And then you can draw the conclusion that I don't think the medication is working for me. And even so, there are so many different types of medication that it might be a fact that this particular one that you were prescribed is not working. Okay, so that's the first misconception, that the medication is not working. Give the medication time to work. If the doctor prescribes you an antibiotic and say, take it for 7 days, you can't tell me on the 3rd day you can make a conclusion whether it's actually working or not working. So it's the same with antidepressant. Give them time to work, and then you can have a conversation with your doctor after 8 weeks if you have not felt any difference, that maybe we need to try another medication. Even so, with antidepressant medications, there is different dosages, guys. So some people start on 25 milligrams. Now I'm going to speak to the medication that I'm taking, which is sertraline. Some people start on 25 milligrams, and if up until a certain point, so I started on 100 milligram, and then after 2 weeks I was changed to 50 milligram, which is basically the dosage that I'm on now. Some people go up to 150 and 200, if I'm not mistaken. 150 is there, 200 I think. That is people now that have an extreme case of anxiety. So they get obviously allocated a higher dosage in order to manage their anxiety. So I started on 100 and I went on 50. And then once I start tapping out on the medication, I'll go on 25 up until I don't take the medication at all. So firstly, it could be that after that 8 weeks, the medication is not working because you're not on the right dosage, or it could be that the medication is not for you. So have the conversation with your doctor in order to determine whether it's the medication or it's the dosage. Especially if you were given one dosage for the whole duration, then you can easily make an assessment that actually this thing is not working because I've been on 100 for the whole 8 weeks. Then you actually might consider actually going higher or going lower on your dosage. So that's the conversations you need to have. Are you on the right dosage of your medication? Cool. Fine. So I went and research, obviously. I went and I actually went on the forums that I was on, and all these misconceptions that they had about antidepressant, and jotted a few down. There's a whole lot. Like, this video would be longer than the usual 40 minutes. So the first misconception, the first thing, I'm not going to say if it's a fact or a myth, and then I'll just explain whether it's a myth or a fact. The first one is that they do not address the root cause. This is a fact. Going on antidepressant is not addressing the root of your anxiety. Your anxiety could have been triggered by work. If you are still working the same amount of time, obviously your anxiety will still stay there. If your anxiety was triggered by loss, your loss is still there, and unless you deal with your loss, then your anxiety will always be there. However, the medication is there because when you have an anxiety attack, there's a chemical imbalance that's happening in your brain. I did explain this. So the medication is there in order to make sure that they balance that imbalance in order for you to go back to how you were before you had your anxiety. So if you fairly understand what your anxiety was caused by, whether it be loss, whether it be work, whether it be financial strain, whether it be marriage problems, whether it would be relationship problems, whether it could be family problems, whether it could be black tax problems, if you can pinpoint that this is the root of my anxiety, antidepressant medication are there to help you manage the physical side. However, that mental side or whatever had triggered your anxiety still needs to be addressed. And you can achieve that by going through counseling in order to deal with that. It could be caused by someone who's causing you pain. The only way you can deal with that is actually dealing with the person. I explained yesterday how you actually manage such things. If you can't avoid something, address it. So that is basically what antidepressant medication are there for. They are there to correct the chemical imbalance, but they will not help with what is going on with you. You still need to address that by talking about it, seeking help for it, but don't expect miracles now to happen, that whatever had triggered your anxiety now all of a sudden once you start going on medication, it's all gone. It's helping you deal with the physical aspect of things and to correct the chemical imbalance. That's the first one. The second one is that antidepressants are happy pills. Now that's a myth. That's a myth. Antidepressant medications are not happy pills. You don't all of a sudden once you take a antidepressant medication, you're very happy. No, they do not do that. And I want to put it out there that I'm on SSRIs. I know I went there so quickly. SSRIs. You can Google what it is. So that's the type of medication that sertraline falls under. Those are not meant to be happy pills. I would, however, encourage you to have a conversation with your doctor about another class of medication called benzos. So benzos consist of your diazepam, your oxazepam, lorazepam, and your Xanax. Woo! Big words, I tell you, big words. So the benzos, they could potentially be happy pills because they kind of like Xanax, when people are some drug addicts, they do actually use Xanax as a high. So be careful about the kind of medication you're being put on. But SSRIs are not happy pills. But educate yourself, speak to your doctor about your concern if you think that they are happy pills, that they don't put you on Xanax. Those are not supposed to be used on a daily basis, guys. So hence that I'm saying you need to have an honest conversation with your doctor in order to understand which ones constitutes happy pills. But sertraline in its own is not a happy pill. Actually, all the medication that falls under the SSRI are not happy pills. So I don't take the medication in the morning and then I'm on a high and on a buzz. No, I just function like a normal person. So that is a myth. Cool. The third one is that they are addictive. This is a fact and a myth. And now I'm going to explain why. This is a fact and a myth. When you stop taking sertraline, right, you do experience withdrawal symptoms. However, they're not the withdrawal symptoms where you're like, I need a fix kind of thing. It's not like that. It's like you get, it's the withdrawals where you're getting almost like your physical symptoms of anxiety, have been switched up, like your brain zaps, difficulties concentrating, sleeping patterns, but it's not one of those like I need a fix kind of thing. I have experienced withdrawal symptoms once. When I went home in December, I forgot to take my pill. And around 4, I could feel my brain zaps. Normally, I take my pill. The first thing I do is to take that pill every morning. It's right on my side of the bed. I take it every morning. But I remember when I'm at home, I sometimes forget to take it, so I take it at random hours. You'll start feeling like brain zaps and things like that happening to you, but it's not as, I don't think it's the same reaction as someone who's going through withdrawal of a recreational drug. So just with that, yes, you are gonna experience withdrawals, but I wouldn't necessarily call it addictive because you don't need a fix, especially if you are tapping off the medication. So you can tap off the medication, you start experiencing the withdrawal symptoms. However, these aren't one of those that you like, okay, I need a fix. It's basically your normal anxiety symptoms coming back, because now you've gone off the thing that was actually helping you manage them. But within time, those also go away. Okay. That is, so there's some truth and some not truth to that. Okay. And then you get your medications, the benzos. The benzos, guys, they are addictive. The benzos, it's a class called the benzos. So that's your diazepam, that's your Xanax, that's the oxazepam, that's your lorazepam. Out of that group, the only one that I've taken is Xanax. I have taken Xanax in order to manage an anxiety attack when it's coming. It's not to be taken daily. My doctor used to prescribe only 7 pills, because she knew that I didn't have to take it on a daily basis. She knew that if I am saying I experience the anxiety twice a week, then I'm going to take that Xanax twice a week. But because I was on meds, it was very seldom that I actually had a full-blown panic attack. Like the Xanax that I have now, it was prescribed to me probably in August last year, over a year already. I still have out of that 7 that was prescribed in August. So it's not for you to take on a daily basis. If you do have problems, addiction problems, I suggest that you do speak up when you go to the doctor, just to say, doctor, I heard something about benzos. Can you explain benzos even more for me? And so that you're not put on something that's going to actually increase your addiction, or that is actually going to make you want to take more addictive drugs, basically. So the group called benzos, they do have an addictive nature. So be careful, speak up, and when you go to a doctor next time, I'm educating you enough for you to be very proactive in that conversation, to say, oh, I was told about SSRIs, I was told about benzos, and then I'm going to touch on another one that's called beta blockers. So please just I'm giving you the knowledge so that you actually can have a conversation with your doctor, so that it's not a one-sided thing, that if he says, no, you need to go on benzos, just tell him. If he's putting on a Xanax on a daily basis, tell him that I know that Xanax is addictive. Okay, great. And then the other things that people said about antidepressant is that they can permanently damage your personality. That is a myth, a big myth. Cool. I am still the same person. I'd like to think of myself as a happy person. I am still a very happy person. I am still funny, I think. Jokes, I'm not funny. But I haven't seen anything being altered in my personality. However, other people, I purely have anxiety. However, other people have depression. They have bipolar disorders. So those things have to do with personalities, those mental illness to alter your personality. So you need to question yourself, is it the medication that is causing this, or is it because I generally suffer from depression? So it's not the antidepressants that are causing that. It's your underlying sickness that is your depression and your bipolar disorder that is causing that, because those mental illness have to do with your personality. I can't speak too much on them because obviously I do not suffer from depression, I do not suffer from bipolar disorder, but those conditions are personality conditions, obviously. Therefore, your personality is always altered, but I would not think that the root cause would be the medication that's altering your personality. It could be that you're not purely suffering from anxiety, you're also suffering from another mental illness which deals with personality. So it's good to get a good and correct diagnosis. If you have bipolar disorder that is coupled with anxiety, antidepressant medication is going to treat your anxiety. However, you need to know that you are on the right medication for the bipolar disorder. However, sertraline on its own is not going to change your personality. Okay, cool. And then the other one is that it's a temporary or short-term fix. Okay, this one it's basically touching on the first point that I spoke about, that it's you can take sertraline for a long time. So in the middle of me shooting a video, I don't know what my phone did, so I had to shoot another. Like, I kind of need to pick up from where I left off. I don't know what happened. Technology are not the best of friends. So as I said, another one was that it's a temporary or short-term fix. As I touched on in the first point, that anxiety medication only kicks in after 6 to 8 weeks. And sadly, it doesn't mean that after that 8 weeks now you stop the medication, the chemical imbalance has been sorted. It has not been. So you need to take it for quite a long period of time in order for you to decide that, okay, now I could tap off. I was told that I need to take it for at least a year, which I have. Don't ask me why I haven't come off it, but I have been taking it for over a year now, and it is one of the safest. Sertraline is one of the safest medications you can actually take for long-term use. So I would say it's not a short-term fix, it's a long-term thing. You can actually take sertraline for a long period of time, up until the point where you feel as though you are physically and mentally prepared to start tapping off the medication. You can tap off the medication whenever you want to. However, I would say do not stop the medication cold turkey. Speak to your doctor about decreasing your dosage. So if you are on 100, start going on 75, 50, 25, up until the point that you stop. That actually links into another one that we've spoken about, that you can actually have withdrawal symptoms. If you are tapping off the medication, I explained that you would get withdrawal symptoms. However, if you are tapping off the medication on your own, obviously start reducing your dosage slowly but surely. Just don't stop the medication altogether and stop taking it, because then your side effects of stopping the medication are gonna hit you hard. So speak to your doctor about reducing your dosage from whatever milligrams you have been prescribed to lower, up until the point that you like, okay, I'm good. That actually reduces the withdrawal symptoms as well. Okay, cool. Then another one is, if you try one type, then it means that medication is not for you. That's one of the things that I've heard. That is utter nonsense. So when me and my doctor were going through this journey, the lady doctor, she first put me on beta blockers. Beta blockers is another type of medication that is actually, it's part of the anxiety and antidepressant medication. However, it's more so to deal with heart. It's basically to manage your heart rhythm and heart movement, basically. So because I got palpitations was one of my symptoms, then they gave me beta blockers in order to manage the rhythm of my heart so that it beats slower and things like that. I got prescribed the medication, I think it was a Wednesday if I'm not mistaken, but by the Saturday and Sunday, by the Sunday I had stopped taking that medication. because it resulted in reducing my blood pressure to a point where, luckily we're staying by a clinic, by a pharmacy, so you could go in and take your blood pressure, because I could feel that I was very lightheaded. I went in and I asked them to take my blood pressure, and it was super low. So they said, you need to stop the medication immediately. I called my doctor and I told her, listen, this is the situation. My vision is fuzzy. I feel very lightheaded. I went to take my blood pressure and this is my blood pressure. And she told me, stop the medication immediately and come see me on Monday. So beta blockers, they're more on your heart management. I think it's more so to prevent a heart attack, but you need to discuss that option with your doctor fully. I do not have too much insight on them because I was on them for a few days and I quickly reacted to when the side effects. Obviously, a low blood pressure is dangerous. That is not a normal side effect. Therefore, if it results in something like that, you need to speak up. You need to be able to identify when you think something is really dangerous, that it could lead to harm or death. That was me, reacted, and I quit the medication, and then I was put on sertraline. So that is that. So the misconception that if one medication doesn't work, then the medication is not for you. There are so many type of medication. You have your benzos, you have your SSRIs, which include your Zoloft. You have your beta blockers. You have, I jotted them down here. You have your hydrogen. I don't know what that one is. I've never used it, but I'm well familiar with benzos and SSRIs and beta blockers. So there is so many. If something does not work for you, it does not mean that all the medication will not work. And sadly, finding the right medication is a trial and error. I think that is with any other disease. Like, if this one medication doesn't work, then your doctor will give you something else up until a point that you guys find something that actually works for you. Luckily for me, sertraline did work, mainly for the fact that I decided to give it the right amount of time in order to determine that it was working. I think after 3 months, I was more so very comfortable that this thing is actually working. So you need to give medication a chance, and then you need to have a plan with your doctor that if this does not work, then what are my other options? But give the medication time. That's basically that. Cool. The other one is that you get like awful long lasting side effects. That's not true. The side effects you generally last for the 2 weeks, for the first 2 weeks, and they could last up until 8 weeks, up until that point that the medication is doing what it's supposed to do. But they gradually disappear. So let's say I was hit with nausea, headaches, trouble sleeping, dizziness, those, and increased anxiety. So those were my side effects when I started the medication. So my anxiety was through the roof. I had headaches, dizziness. I even went to get glasses from the doctor because that's how it was, because I'd look at the screen of the laptop and my vision would go dizzy, and then that's when I was given glasses to actually wear glasses when I work. So those were my side effects. But gradually my anxiety started going down. I think that's the first one. Nausea started going down. Nausea, which came with diarrhea, that died down as well. Dizziness and that fuzziness, it started dying down, and headaches are still there because those are my physical symptom. It's my worst physical symptom of anxiety, headaches. I get headaches daily, guys. Like, I'm not exaggerating. So they slowly disappeared within the 2 weeks. Luckily, mine lasted for that first 2 weeks, guys, and then after that I was fine. I was fine-ish going into my 8 weeks. I think I started feeling that the medication was working around 4 weeks. I was like, okay, I think it's doing what it's supposed to. So it's not true. You don't, like, now I don't have side effects from the meds. The side effects that I have are just from general anxiety. That's it. So the side effects, you need to bear and grind with them because they are part and parcel of dealing with this. I think all medication has side effects. So if you can take medication and still be fine with the side effects, why can't you take antidepressants and still be fine with the side effects from them? So that's basically that. Life dependency, it's one of the things that I don't want to depend on them for the rest of my life. That is not true. You can get off the medication whenever you want to get off the medication. As I explained, you need to gradually start tapping off the medication in order for you to fully be off that medication. And obviously you need to brace yourself that once you stop the medication, you don't know whether the chemical imbalance now has been, it's back to where it was supposed to be. So you gradually start decreasing, and if your anxiety is going through the roof, you just need to live through those moments up until to a point where gradually you actually start feeling as though, no, I'm feeling much better now. I could actually tap off the medication. So it's not true. It's not a life sentence, guys. You can get off the medication whenever you want to, but do it the right way. Speak to your doctor so that you guys can work a program together. Okay, great. And then it's a solution to your depression or anxiety. That's another misconception. It's not a solution. It's not a solution, guys. As I explained, that all the mental illness has been triggered by something. You need to work on your emotion. This medication is just to restore a chemical imbalance. It's not for you now that it's helping you deal with the breakup that happened 10 years ago. It's not there to help you with the loss of someone that you love. You still need to deal with those emotions, but it's just there to help you manage the physical side of things. Okay, great. And then this one was the first one I asked my doctor. I asked her because I'm a woman. The misconception is that they're not safe for pregnancy. That's not true, guys. That is not true. I asked my doctor this because I'm 31. I'm getting married. We want to have a family. It was very important for me to actually understand whether there will be issues, complication, and sertraline. The SSRI group of medication actually is one of the safest medication to use for mental illness while you're pregnant. So I can still take my medication if I'm expecting a little Zalai in future, basically. So they are safe to take while you are pregnant. Okay, I left this one for last. Obviously, I only jotted down about 10, guys. There is so many. If you guys want me to do another video, please let me know. There's so many, but I had to filter. And if you have your own misconceptions, please feel free to run them past me and just ask me, is this true? I left this one for last. This one is called taking antidepressant medication is a sign of weakness. What will people say? Which people? Which people are you talking about? Is it the same people who go on with their daily activities and forget about your mental illness? Is it the same people who are scared to pick up a phone and check up on you? Which people are you referring to? Because the people that support you through your mental journey, they will support you going on medication. So which people? Guys, you need to stop leaving to other people's script, what they've written for their lives, and start making it your own. Mental illness is real, guys, and it affects you a great deal. If you are so consumed about what people are going to say about you when you go through mental illness, then you haven't accepted you. Because if you start accepting yourself, then you start living according to your rules. This one makes me angry, in fact. I stopped living according to people's rules, I think maybe I was 17, 18. And I started defining my life the way I wanted to. The stigma of what will people say. These people you're referring to, I want you to jot them down. Jot them down and actually just ask, who's going to say what? What's my mother going to say? My mother supports me. So she understands that I've made an informed decision to take the medication. She's not going to have a problem with that. What will my partner say? He's the person I was walking this journey with. He was there when I was going through my most. He was there when I was lying in bed. He was there through it all. So how can he have a problem with me taking a step to get better? My friends understand exactly. So is it the friends that I'm talking about? My friends support my decision, and I know that. So which people are you talking about? The people that don't give a damn about you, that don't care about you. Those are the people you're talking about. So stop living your life according to other people's rules, to the rules they've scripted and drafted for their own life. Start creating your own. Start managing your own mental illness, because you're the one who is suffering. So please, it's not a sign of weakness. I am not weak. I am still managing my job. I'm still doing the best that I can at work. I'm still doing the best that I can in my house. And in no point, at any point when I wake up and take my medication, did I ever feel weak. So the problem is you're too concerned about what people are gonna say about you, and you need to stop it, because it's adding to your mental anxiety. Okay, I left that one for last. So this video is much shorter. I think it's much shorter than the other videos, simply because I've tried to filter the misconceptions. So there's misconceptions, there's truth to some of these things, but there isn't. There is different types of medications you can try. So you need to speak to your doctor. It's not only sertraline. I talk about sertraline because it's the medication I'm on, but I've been on propranolol, which is your beta blocker. I've been on Xanax, which is your benzos. However, have a straight up conversation with your doctor as to the kind of medication that you can actually take. There's too many options out there that are available, but you need to first take the step to saying, I am going to go on medication. Okay. And basically my mission and my goal with this video was that last point. You're not taking medication. You've exhausted all your options, and you know you're supposed to go on medication. You're not taking medication because you're scared of what will people say. What people will say. What people. I think you need to start asking yourself what people, and then you start jogging these people down. What people are you talking about? Confront them if you need to. Confront them and say, so and so, I believe that you're going to think this is a sign of weakness. Tell me, why do you think it's going to be a sign of weakness? So you need to start having open and transparent conversations with the people in your life about the decisions you're taking for your own mental illness. And in fact, I don't think you even owe them anything, but out of courtesy and the fact that you need them to support you, you need to start having conversation with your support structure. But any other people who don't care about you, why do you care about what they will think? Okay. So that's it for today. I'll see you guys on Sunday. On Sunday, we're tackling a deeper conversation. I'm still gathering the strength to make that video. Like, I'm making this video now, but I'm still finding strength for the Sunday video where we're talking about emotional baggage. Do we actually have emotional baggage? And I'll unpack a little bit on my emotional baggage, which I think played a part in my mental illness that actually triggered my anxiety. Work could have been the trigger. It's basically the thing that's set you off. However, there were other what do you call it now? There were other emotional issues I had to deal with that actually were contributing to my anxiety attacks, that were contributing to the symptoms that I experiencing. So we'll touch on that on Sunday. Wish me luck, guys. And obviously, if you do want me to make another video on misconceptions about antidepressant medication, please do feel free. And so I think another question you guys are probably wondering is, when am I gonna go off my medication? To be honest, I don't know. I don't think I've dealt enough with the emotional stuff that is happening in order for me now to say, okay, cool, I have come about this disease. I haven't. I'm still going through my journey. However, I will start tapping off the medication soon. So wish me luck. And obviously I will share when I start tapping off the medication, everything. You guys are gonna walk that journey with me. I'll be very transparent so that you can see what happens when you're tapping off the medication. So at this point, I'm in no rush. I don't think I'm in a rush to actually stop. It is a conversation I've had with my doctor. I've had to find a new doctor since coming back home. I actually went once because I needed my script, but I told her what my situation is. So I don't know when I'm gonna go off the meds, but I'll keep you guys posted. You'll be the first to know when I start tapping off my medication. So I will see you guys on Sunday. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be very transparent and it's gonna be very open. And I think on Sunday I will also disclose what will be coming up. Remember, I did say that I think I will be stretching out the series to longer than 6 episodes. So I might dish out actually what else we're going to be discussing around mental illness. Another thing is I'd like to put it out there that I am currently looking for someone who's willing to share their story, someone who has been diagnosed with anxiety, however, anxiety that is interlinked with depression. So if you are someone who has been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, please feel free to drop in with me if you are comfortable with sharing your story. Obviously I didn't go through depression, so I don't understand how that factors, but I would love to actually get someone who would be comfortable in talking about that and just sharing their experience. Obviously, I can only give as so much knowledge as I have experienced, which is purely anxiety. So please feel free to drop in, and then maybe you could be episode number 7. Who knows? Please do write in and let me know if you'd be comfortable in coming in and sharing your story with the platform. Remember, we are breaking the barriers. Remember, we are talking about everything and anything that nobody wants to talk about. We are coming to be bigger than our problems. We are bigger people than our anxiety. So guys, I'll see you on Sunday. Excited, and it's gonna be awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you then. Bye.